This pine tree seed is 65 feet tall. Well, not exactly at this moment. I'll explain later.
But first, meet Harold. Not too long ago, Harold was living a life that was overall unproductive. He would wake up whenever he felt like it, often sleeping half the day away. His room was a mess, and sometimes he wouldn't even make his bed. At first, this ability to do whatever he wanted seemed enjoyable. He would have even described it as being free. Although, as time went on, this feeling began to wear away. He would trip over the mess in his room, his whole body would feel off from staying in bed for so long, and his head would hurt. And Mama Harold did not approve of his bed-making skills. He felt like his life was perpetually becoming more and more chaotic. He knew that he had to get out of his current situation, but he didn't know how. He decided to search for answers, asking himself, what would the version of me who isn't a mess do? Falling asleep, still asking himself the question, and wishing that there was some way that the answer could just be given to him, suddenly, it appears to him. Awakened from his sleep, Harold curiously gets up to see what it is. He approaches the bright glowing object, and he slowly begins to make out what it is. It's, Atomic Habits. He reads throughout the night learning about how to create new habits and break bad ones. He learns that to change how he feels, he has to change what he does. Starting small by only making his bed in the morning, over time it begins to become automatic. He begins taking on new habits and developing himself into the person he wants to become. His life is no longer a distraught mess, but a consistent growth towards his goals. However, it's not exactly a walk in the park for Harold when it comes to building habits. While developing these new ones, he had some days where he would forget to do them and even fall back into some bad habits. But this is to be expected. Nobody's perfect, not even Harold. The important thing is that he no longer feels the crushing weight of dissatisfaction or the disappointment of others. When he messes up, he realizes it is to be expected, and he is able to easily avoid it the next time. The quality of his life has improved greatly because of a strange book that taught him small changes can lead to remarkable results. This, my friends, is what Atomic Habits is all about. Today, I'll take you through 4 of the most life-changing principles that I found in Atomic Habits by James Clear. This isn't any regular book review. It's a journey of how these principles allow us to achieve what we previously thought to be impossible. But what really is Atomic Habits? At its core, Atomic Habits displays how to form good habits and break bad ones, offering readers a practical guide to achieving remarkable results. Atomic Habits unveils the power of incremental change. It reveals to us how these small actions, or atomic habits, can create a ripple effect of improvement across various aspects of our lives. Principle 1. Forget goals, create systems. Forget goals, create systems encourages a shift from only focusing on end goals to developing systems that allow us to accomplish those goals. Traditional goal setting emphasizes the desired outcome, such as losing a certain amount of weight or writing a best-selling novel. While these goals do provide direction, they often neglect the journey required to reach them. Creating systems, on the other hand, places more emphasis on the process that leads to achieving those goals. It's about creating a framework of habits that support your goals. By focusing on daily or routine habits that align with your desired outcome, you make progress a natural part of your life. These habits become steps within your system that guide you towards your goals. Instead of striving for perfection, you aim to get a little better each day. This gradual progress accumulates over time. And while goals can be achieved and then left behind, systems support ongoing success. By creating effective systems and consistently following through with them, you not only increase your chances of achieving your goals, but you also make personal growth and progress a natural part of your life. Principle 2, the 2-minute rule. This rule revolves around the idea that any new habit can be started if it takes less than 2 minutes to complete. The brilliance of the 2-minute rule lies in its simplicity. It suggests that if you want to establish a new habit, you should make the starting point so easy, so incredibly quick to accomplish that it's nearly impossible to say no. Imagine, for example, that you want to develop the habit of daily reading. Instead of setting a daunting goal or reading an entire chapter, you apply the 2-minute rule. Your initial commitment is to read for just 2 minutes. This might mean reading a single paragraph, a few sentences, or maybe you just stare at the pages. Once you've begun, you'll often find that you naturally continue beyond those initial 2 minutes. The 2-minute rule capitalizes on the psychological idea that getting started is often the most challenging part. By making the start so incredibly easy, you create momentum that can carry you through the habit. Principle 3, habit loop. The habit loop consists of 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates a habit. It can be anything from a specific time of day, location, or an emotion. Cues serve as signals that tell your brain it's time to execute a particular habit, developing into a craving. The craving is the desire or urge that rises in response to the cue.
It's the feeling of anticipation that motivates you to take action. For example, if the cue is feeling stressed, the craving might be the desire to listen to music, creating a response. The response is the actual behavior or action that you take to satisfy the craving. It's the habit itself. This can be anything as simple as opening your phone and pressing play when you feel stressed, which leads to a reward. The reward is what you gain from completing the habit. It provides a sense of satisfaction or pleasure and reinforces the habit loop. The habit loop is a pattern that your brain follows every time you engage in a habit, whether it's a good one like exercising or a bad one like chewing your nails. The key insight from Atomic Habits is that you can modify or create habits by altering the components of this loop. By understanding the habit loop, you can break negative habits and build positive ones, ultimately leading to personal growth and transformation. Principle 4, identity-based habits. Rather than only focusing on specific outcomes, this approach encourages us to focus on who we want to become. Your current habits are a reflection of how you currently see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who hates reading, you're more likely to never pick up a book. If you want change, you have to identify the person you want to become. This could be an identity aligned with your goals, such as a creative writer or a healthier person. Once you've established your desired identity, you can start aligning your habits with it. Ask yourself, what would a person with this identity do? If your desired identity is a healthy person, you might naturally choose to make healthy food choices. As you consistently act in alignment with your desired identity, your habits become a natural extension of who you are. There's less reliance on willpower. You're simply being true to your identity. Now, back to this pine seed. It's quite small, and while it doesn't seem like it, it has incredible potential to grow to 65, 85, and even 100 feet tall. You see, in little over a year of consistent growth, this small seed will turn into this. You can definitely tell it's a plant now. However, this is only the beginning, because after up to 50 years, it turns into this. And I know you're probably thinking, 50 years? That's a long time. And well, it is. This example shows that progress doesn't happen overnight. It may take months, sometimes years, for noticeable change to happen. While the initial progress might seem subtle and slow, with time and dedication, those small efforts accumulate and lead to substantial change. Substantial transformation in our lives often start with tiny, seemingly insignificant adjustments. Atomic Habits urges us to recognize how significant the impact of small, consistent actions over time can be. It's a reminder that achieving remarkable results doesn't require monumental efforts. Instead, it encourages us to focus on making incremental improvements, the kind that can easily become a part of our daily lives. If you would like to learn more about how to create Atomic Habits and what James Clear has to say about them, I'd recommend getting yourself a copy of this book and reading it for yourself. I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can pretty much find it anywhere that sells books. And if you happen to like this video, then please leave a thumbs up. It helps out the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, by creating small habits and sticking to them, your life can be completely transformed. It won't happen overnight, but in due time, your habits will be doing all the work for you. Keep exploring, keep learning, and good luck building those atomic habits. Peace.